Yeah. So what they tell you, Sammy, is that one of the best ways to ensure job security is to make your job seem so important that they can't get rid of you. And the guy who was on the NFL Network on Wednesday night, what's his name? Mike North, that CM Punk looking guy. He he does such a great job of making this feel like, oh, we got to worry about baseball. And like, first of all, Taylor Swift is not going to have an outdoor concert at the Meadowlands in December. So I think we're pretty clear of when we need stuff. The World Cup is planned far enough in advance. You can make arrangements for that. Like all that stuff goes like the people who run stadiums are not idiots. Like they can do this. So for me, if I'm running the schedule, this is what I do is I go out and I'm like, there's no divisional games until week 5. Week 5 is rivalry week. Packers, Bears, 49ers, Rams, things like that. Steelers, Ravens. Not everybody has a natural rival, so it can rotate year to year. But for the most part, and then 5, 6, 7, those are divisional games. Teams have now had enough time to get their stuff together. This is why you can sort of get rid of more preseason games. And then 5, 6, 7, there you go, divisional games. And then the bye weeks start 8, 9, 10, and 11. And then you take 2 divisions. Each year it's different. One year you're week 8, one year you're week 9, and it rotates on up. Instead of like being like, who is it? The Chargers, who have like a week 5 bye every season. The Bears have an early bye, which we'll get to in a moment. And then the end of the season, rival, like boom, divisional games again. And then try to figure out, who are the best teams in the league, in the division, excuse me. You're like, like the Chiefs and Raiders are the two best, like they should play in the game. Like it doesn't have to be a natural rival. And for that reason, and then everything else could be falling into place. But now this guy comes on to NFL Network, like, this is so complicated. Nobody else can figure it. Like AI could have spit this out in a minute. Like, don't give me any of this stuff. But in any event, the schedule is out. We're about to dive in. So Sammy, why don't we just go ahead and start the show?
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Adam Rank.
It's Hester trying to work it back to the middle. Gets past the first wave, and here he goes. It's Hester inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown. And no flag, 92 yards.
The sickest Chicago Bears and fantasy football podcast. Sports entertainment like no other. It's gonna be sick.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Sick Podcast, a very special edition as we are going over the schedule of the Chicago Bears heading into the 2024 seasons. A lot of notes, a lot of things to get to. I do want to just let everybody know right off the bat, the reason that I wasn't out doing schedule release stuff on Wednesday night was because that team behind me right there. So the Red Lightning, the Lightning Strikers, we won our league last year, and and we were able to bring back the majority of the team. We added one player. We lost one player to an all-star club, and so we brought in a new girl to our side who we expected to play goalie, but she was so good out in the field. Right? You got to play in the field. So we had a great season. We had gone from the end of September to April 20th. I'll remember it was 4/20. We got smoked 6-1. And it was our first loss. It was the first time we had given up more than 2 goals in a regular season game. Actually, outside of scrimmaging some extra teams or all-star teams. Or when we made it to sectionals and all this stuff. First time in our division, we'd given up more than 2 goals in again, since November. So we went out, we won our league, took top of the table again, but we got blown out 6-1 by this team, like our only loss on the season. And so we played them in a tournament last night on Wednesday night. And it's the kind of team that you like, I don't want to care. Like, I just want my girls to do well. We want to develop players. We want them to have fun, enjoy playing soccer, enjoy competing against everybody. But it's always parents who ruin it. And there's parents on the other side. And the guys, you've seen kicking and screaming. Like our team feels like they should be the bad guys, but we're not. Maybe. depending. There's two sides to every story, right? In any event, we ended up winning 2-0. We won in our past two tournaments in the 143. We've given up 2 goals in the last 2 tournaments. Come on, we gave up 2 goals on Tuesday night. So congratulations to the young ladies who, I'm not a good coach, but they know what they're doing. So I appreciate that. My voice is a little bit shaky. In any event, thank you for being here. We do appreciate it. Let's take a quick look at the schedule right now. And Sammy, why don't we go ahead and pull that up? So by now you've seen this. And I think what you really want to know is who I'm picking to win. But we got a great start to the season. Now, I was talking about this at the top of the show, where I don't like opening up with divisional games. I don't think that that's fair. I think there should be more weight to divisional games. Like, I don't know if we should go full college football, that if you went 6-0 in your division, you make the playoffs. Like, to me, that's always interesting. And it makes 6-0. It makes those so weighted, but then you could have a team that's conceivably 6-15. Wait, 6-13. Wait, I can't even do the math. 6-11. Jesus, go back to an even number. In any event, I don't like having early divisional playoff games or divisional games. It just doesn't seem right to me. So this is decent because we don't see a divisional rival till week 11. And I think that once they had announced that the Packers were going to be playing in Brazil to open the year, we already knew, like, okay, we're not going to get embarrassed by the Packers in week 1. Dude, I might not even be able to talk. We're going to push through this. I'm on Total Access on Thursday, maybe. But yeah, we're going to have to push through that, see how that goes. But in any event, don't see the Packers until week 11. And then close the season at Green Bay, which, I feel like the guy that I was talking about at the beginning of the show, Mike North, did this on purpose to me. Like, this is absolutely personal because I do go out there a lot. And I would say it to his face. I've actually said it to his face. I said, your job is easier than you make it. Actually, I was in, this goes back years ago. I was at the Super Bowl in Dallas. And I saw him and I'm like, oh my God. Cause like the first thing you think, like, oh my God, like it took me back a little bit. Cause I'm like, oh my God, you look so much like CM Punk. And he's like, who is that? And I'm like, whatever. But then at one time, I think it was on GMFB or was on some show. And I told him, I said, dude, you make this way more difficult than you need to. And I don't think he appreciated it. But some early observations, clearly. The divisional games don't start till week 11. I love that in the fact of it'll allow our team to kind of come together and to be a team. Last season, the Bears were playing their best football at the end of the year. And so there you go. We got that going on. Love it. We also have this starting in week 13. We have a 3-game run of road games, and like not easy road games. At the Lions, a team that the Bears dominated pretty much last year. The 49ers, the defending NFC champs, but I don't want to be dismissive of the Lions. Lions are a very good team. At the Vikings, the Lions again. Like that is a brutal stretch. And of course, we got the Viking sandwich in it. It's really odd. So as much as I don't like opening up with teams in the division, I don't like having them all sandwiched. Like, you put them all, like, outside of the Seahawks and the 49ers, we're playing all. Again, how is this hard? It is not this difficult. It is not. And I know a lot of people will be like, hey, like, again, Pearl Jam is not going to be playing Soldier Field in November. Maybe they are. Who knows? Pearl Jam's a little bit different. But, like, U2, if U2 is touring, they're going to want to play in the summer. Like, I feel like most stadiums, like anybody, I know people who work at SoFi Stadium and they're like, the summer is our concert time. This is when we have concerts come in. We try not to have them during the season. The Lakers, the Clippers, and the Kings share a building and they have to be out of there for 30 days because of the Grammys. They somehow make that work. If you have this laid out well enough in advance, if you were like starting in 2028, we know for sure the Bears will be home these days and these days. Everybody can schedule around it. Don't give me this nonsense, this BS of this is the way it no, it didn't have to be this way. It's not that it's not that difficult. Not that difficult. Dude, we have AI. AI will spit this out in a minute. Okay, let's get into it. I think what you guys are waiting for, the wins and losses. The wins and losses, and of course, we'll have Sammy make out a graphic, and we can put that out later on in the later on. All right, I've been thinking about this with all sincerity. The Bears are going 17-0. No, they're not. They're not going 17-0. Let's start walking through this schedule a little bit. Now, our producers, before we came on, I wish we had been recording this because oh my God, I love the Titan fans who are just like, oh, this isn't going to be an easy game for you. I'm like, really? Like, honestly, as bad as it would be to lose to the Green Bay Packers in week 1 again, like, I never need to see that again. Losing to Will Levis in week 1 would actually be probably worse. It would actually be worse. So stop it. They're like, oh, the Titans. I don't know what the identity of the Titans are going to be. We don't know what Callahan's going to be. This is going to be difficult when I do my schedule predictions for the NFL Media Group, is that looking at teams like the Titans, you just don't know. Like, okay, maybe they will be a breakout team. Maybe they will put it all together and it will be amazing. But we don't know. There's too many unknowns. Brand new coaching staff. We don't know if Will Levis is any good. This will be an interesting, again, I think it's legitimately fair for the Bears to expect a win in week 1. Week 2, on the road at the Texans. I would expect a win here. I'm not sure what I'm predicting. The Texans are good. How good are the Texans? We see this every season where there are teams that make a miracle run to the playoffs, and then all of a sudden they're not as good the following year. The Jacksonville Jaguars being chief example of this. Remember, the Jacksonville Jaguars win a playoff game against the Chargers. Well, I guess that's not that big a deal. They win a playoff game against the Chargers, and then so the following year, everybody's like, well, the Jags will just walk away with the AFC South. And for the first part of that season, it looked like it was going to be the case. Fall off. So the Texans could very well been that team that overachieved a little bit, that maybe takes a step back. Again, I think we should win. I would be willing to concede that we start 1-1. We should win 2 out of the first 3 games. I really do believe that, because then we got the Colts. And again, I've seen hot takes with Anthony Richardson. Oh, the Colt, like Anthony, who was it? Andy Behrens? No, it's somebody with Yahoo. Anthony Richardson is my like QB1. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. Like, we need to see Anthony Richardson stay healthy. Like, his running style was pretty good, but it also led to a lot of injuries. Like, we just got through this with Justin Fields. And so I'm looking at this. I don't know. We should be 2-1 after the first 3 weeks. Back-to-back roadies. If the Bears come out flat, it's a Matt Eberflus revenge game. Should beat the Colts. If I'm being fair, 2-1. I know that we have a rookie quarterback. 2-1 feels okay. I would expect to win all these games. There's really a lot of games here where I'm not like, we're losing this one. I think over the last couple of years, you would look at contests and you'd be like, we're not winning this one. This would be very difficult to pull off. I'm not saying we're going to be 3-0, but I will say that we go 2-1. And then we have the Rams in week 4. This might be an opportune time to be facing the Rams, or for the Rams to be facing us, because we're still trying to get our stuff together. We're still, it's early enough in the season where weather shouldn't be a factor for the Rams. So I could say, okay, let's be 2-2. We start off the season 2-2. Let's say, okay, I don't want to say this. Let's say we lose to the Texans, we lose to the Rams, 2-2. I think 2-2 should be the expectation in this early part of the season. The first quarter of the season. This is why I hate the 17th game. Like, if it perfect was broken up into quarters, the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. And for a lot of the, like, if you remember the Patriots during their run of excellence, they were a team that did a lot of, like, they weren't necessarily great in the first quarter of the season. And they were just trying to figure things out. And I think the Bears could be in a possible situation where they're trying to figure things out. I think that a huge win in week 1 against the Titans at home, which is great. And then a little too full of yourself, lose to the Texans, rally against the Colts. Matt Eberflus going up against his own team. And then the Rams come in here and Sean McVay schemes up his team. I could see that. I could definitely see that. So 2-2 coming through here. But this is where things start to get a little bit interesting. And this is where you might need to rein me in. We're not losing to the Panthers in week 5. There's just no way. No, I'm not even going to discuss that. Then it's a London game. And a London game is a huge advantage for the Jags. Absolutely. Huge advantage for the Jags. I'm not saying the Bears lose that one. But again, heading into the bye week, if we are 3-3, I think that's a realistic. 3-3 should be the baseline. I think we'll be 4-2. I'm not ready to concede to the Jags. You know what? I'm not giving the Jags a game. No, Jags lose in London. I'll have to go back and look at the numbers. No, I'm not conceding that one. 4-2. 4-2 heading into the bye week. Then you got the Commanders, and this is, Jaden Daniels going up against Caleb Williams, obviously. This will be a big one. Caleb Williams coming back home to Maryland. I love it. Not losing that game. Definitely not losing that game. Coming off a bye week. Nope. Caleb Williams wins that game. On the road at the Cardinals. Jesus, I don't like this schedule at all. The Cards, I will say you win this one. I'm not buying into Kyler Murray by any stretch of the imagination. So now we're 6-2, right at this spot, through week 9, halfway through the season. 6-2 at home against the Patriots. I feel like they're going to win that one. The Patriots, I'm not. We don't know how Mayo is going to be as a head coach. I think that the Bears have an excellent chance here. The Patriots might be one of the worst teams in the league once again. I think there's a real good chance that happens. That roster, to me, is not impressive. And when you don't have a quarterback that could elevate anybody, I think that's going to be that should be counted on as a win. The Packers, all right. For the sake of argument, let's say we split the division. Just 3-3. We take the home games. We lose the road games. I think that's a fair. I don't see us getting swept by the Packers this year. And I could see us not needing to win in week 18. Like us having either the division locked up or the Lions have the division locked up. We're in the playoffs. It's not going to be as important. So the Packers might get a cheap win on that one. And the Packers will be like 6-11, 7-9. Wait, 7-10. Jesus, I hate that. Maybe 8 wins. Pretty much the Packers, I think, are the same as they were last year. I don't think there's much difference to them. I think that they're expecting Jordan Love to be better. Jordan Love's going into his 5th year. How much better do you think he's going to get? We saw the best of Jordan Love last year. It's not like, oh, he's going to take a step up in year 5. What quarterbacks get that much better from year 4 to year 5? The guy that he was last year, making risky plays, making risky throws, throwing up and be like, Christian Watson's got to be there somewhere. Like, fine, do that again. I'm here for it. So even if we split that, so what are we up to? Like 9 wins, beat the Seahawks, lose to the 49ers. So I'm looking at like 10 wins. I think 10 wins is very doable. And I think I'm underselling the Bears a little bit. I think I'm underselling them and not giving them enough credit because how well they play. Because the Vikings are, I'm not conceding a game to the Vikings. I don't think the Vikings are going to be that. I don't know why people look at the Vikings and think they're good. I think at some point, they've got to lock up Justin Jefferson long term. It would be ridiculous for them not to, especially when they drafted J.J. McCarthy and they feel like he's their quarterback of their future. There's no way that you can get rid of Justin Jefferson. But at the same time, there might be a point in the season if they don't extend Jefferson in the next couple of weeks, where you start playing and you realize like, yeah, we're going to need to rebuild, and they send away Justin Jefferson for an absolute haul. They won't, because they're not going to, because they need to develop JJ McCarthy. They might have been able to get rid of that or get away with that if Kirk Cousins was the quarterback. But yeah, I just don't see it from the Vikings unless Sam Darnold really picks up. That's the hope. Like JJ McCarthy's not coming in and playing like CJ Stroud. That's just not going to happen. And so they really need Sam Darnold to step up. And I like Sam Darnold. I'm a big Sam Darnold guy, so maybe. I don't like conceding I don't like conceding a game to the Vikings. I know it's probably, I don't know that. I think 4-2 in the division is fair with the Bears. I'll give the Lions one. But I'll give them the Thanksgiving game, I guess. I do like that we're playing them on Thanksgiving. I think that's pretty cool. I believe that should be the tradition. I would be willing, like, we're eventually going to have to play on the road on a short week enough that I would love for the Bears to somehow, like, this is where the Hallis family, the McCaskies should really exert their influence. Like, we use our favor to not be in Hard Knocks as opposed to anything else, which is funny to me. So let me see. For terms of the graphic, so Sammy can make this up and make this official. God, I hate giving us losses at all. I'm going to put this in the notes, Sam, so we can see it. Just so because I know that I'm being weird just talking through this stuff. So I'll type these in for you. So I'm going to go Titans. There's a win. Sorry. I know they're, oh God, I'm so glad they're not I'm surprised they're not breaking in, but I'm giving us the Titans a dub. I'm just going to do that. And you can't stop me. Texans. All right, fine. I'll be fair. Again, I don't think that the Texans are necessarily a great team, but I think that they're a little bit more established than us. But Colts is a win for me. And then Rams, fine. I'll give us an L. Panthers, win. Jaguars, win. Sorry, that ad is a win. So that has us at what? 4-2 going into the break. I like where this is going. Commanders, definite win. Cardinals, looking to be at this Cardinals game, by the way. I'd love to get out there to Arizona. Real easy to do a day flight. Even if I'm working in the morning, if I'm working at the NFL Network in the morning, doing a morning show, I could actually leave at 11, fly out there, get there in time for the game, take a lift, have somebody pick me up. Patriots, win. Packers, win. Vikings, win. Lions, L. 49ers, L. Fine. Vikings, win. Lions, win. The Shane Waldron Bowl, win. So what are we looking at? How are we doing right now? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 wins for us. 12 wins. All right, Packers on the road, a loss. We don't need that game. That's a throwaway game. So 12-5 as the record. Oh, man. Maybe we start off a little bit slower. All right. Well, there it was. So 12-5. It's going to be my prediction for this team. I think that's fair. And again, we don't know when you're doing this, and this is always the funny thing. People will be like, "Oh, bet me." I'm like, why would you ever make bets? I don't understand why people do future bets, because you don't know. Like, we're trying to put this and analyze this as well as possible. How do you really look at this and you don't know how the team's going to, like, is there injuries? Is this guy healthy? I feel like if this is Madden with the injuries off, this should be a Sammy. Sammy's like, take off that Titans win. I'm going to count it as double, Sam. I think it's a pretty fair estimation of where this team is going to be. And I think, again, it's hard. It's difficult. Like, there's times where you get things wrong. I will go back to last season with the Cleveland Browns, and you're like, yeah, that was, we made a mistake. They were better than I thought they were going to be. And so I thought they were going to struggle. They didn't, and they played well. And that was just a miss on my part. And there are sometimes you do this and you're like, well, the quarterback, like the Jets. I had the Jets being very good last year. Aaron Rodgers goes down in the first minute of the game. And I didn't mean to laugh through that, but the team is definitely different than what we thought they were going to be. And so, there it is. And it is what it is. But I think if everything goes as the plan, this team develops as it does. I think it's very realistic to expect 12 wins. And just trying to figure out where we're going to take a road trip. So we got a roadie to Arizona. We got a roadie to San Francisco. There we go. Thank you. I'm trying to think too. By the way, let's put in a quick shout out to the game room at the Chicago Athletic Association Hotel. Now, for anybody who was there for our draft party, you know that the Game Room Chicago is amazing. Like, it is a full, like, it is so cool because when you come in and you check into the hotel, to get to half the elevators for half the hotel, you got to go through the Game Room Chicago. And it's festive and people are having a good time. There's some skee ball, there's Pop-A-Shot, and the cocktails are amazing. I was sitting there with the ESPN 100 guys. We were sipping some old fashions. It was really delightful. They have a great extensive beer menu. The food was wonderful. Like, people were raving about the food, and they got, Chef Mari Katsumura. He's got, like, it was legit, because I was sitting there and somebody was asking me, like, is the food good? And I'm like, dude, we do this read all the time. Like, yeah, like they're proud of their food, as they should be. It was excellent. So I'm thinking what we should do, Sam, is we should try to, like, you know what, if we still got a thing going, week 1 in Chicago, Titans, Bear, we've got some work to do. We got to talk to our friends at Game Room Chicago, because that would be fun. And it's a great place. And this is why I'm sort of like cool if we end up staying in downtown, building the stadium. Now, I still believe they'll end up in Arlington Heights. I do, because I think that the whole, like, there's no way that you put together, like, they just had some kid in the social media department probably just AI a stadium in Chicago and be like, yeah, we're going to make this work. And like, we're just trying to get Arlington Heights to give us some concessions, build a rail line there, and it's perfect. But if they do stay in Chicago, in downtown, like, the Game Room is a great place. I walked from the Game Room, from the historic Chicago Athletic Association Hotel to Soldier Field. It wasn't that far. It's a brisk walk. If it's cold out, it might be a little. You could still jump on the L. Like, the L's right there. You could take that down a couple of exits, get out by get out. But I got a production meeting to go to. But in any event, you could go out there. Like, it's super easy. So it's cool. So maybe week 1, Titans. We should do this. But anyway, in any event, 12 wins is going to be my official prediction for this coming season. I know that people are like, it's the same thing. It's not the same thing. Like, I don't know how I get casuals not paying attention. Hey, the history of the Chicago Bears quarterbacks suck. Tom Brady mentioned this in his roast, which I thought was one of the best things, because not only was it a great joke, but it was also a great sports take, is that he was talking about the eras of the Chiefs, Super Bowl 4, then eras of sucking, and then now, like, a good team now that Tom Brady's retired. Like, there was the history of the Chiefs at the quarterback position sucked until Patrick Mahomes got there. So there's reasons for optimism in Chicago. And if things are going to end up, if they go the way Ryan Poles put it out there, and Caleb Williams develops to be the quarterback that everybody seems to think that he is, and the players stay healthy, and we get all that stuff, 12 wins might be setting the bar low. So let me know what you think. Leave your prediction in the comments, and then we can go back and check it out. I spent a lot of time going back to one of the Minnesota Vikings podcast where they were roasting me for predicting they would win 8 games. Like, there's no way we win just 8 games. Yeah, you're right. You won 7. But in any event, leave your prediction down there. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Pass this around. Thanks to everybody for being here. And Sammy, you can go ahead and play us out. And the Bears beat.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Adam Rank on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.